The alarm screamed through the store like a siren. Beep, beep, beep. Stop right there! Sarah's voice cut through the noise. Her perfectly manicured hand shot out and grabbed my shoulder, hard. I turned slowly. My heart was pounding, but I kept my face calm. "Don't you dare take another step," she hissed. A crowd was already forming. Phones were coming out. "I knew you were trouble the second you walked in here." "Excuse me?" I said quietly. "Open the bag." She pointed at my shopping bag like it was a weapon. "Now, before I call the police and make this very embarrassing for you." I looked her straight in the eye. "If I open this bag, you're going to lose everything. Are you absolutely sure you want me to do this?" Her face twisted into a cruel smile. "Oh, I'm sure, because people like you—" But before she could finish, "How did I get here? And what happens next?" If you want to find out, hit that like button right now and subscribe so you never miss stories like this. Trust me, you won't believe what happens next. Let me back up. 24 hours earlier. I wasn't standing in a store being accused of stealing. I was in the back of a town car, stuck in Manhattan traffic, holding a glass of champagne. "It's official, Michelle," my lawyer said over the phone. His voice was excited. "The papers are signed. You now own 100% of Lux Mode. Congratulations." I should have been celebrating, popping bottles, calling my family, but I wasn't. Instead, I was staring at my iPad, scrolling through customer reviews. 1 star, 1 star, 1 star, over and over again. The manager racially profiled me and called security. They followed me around the entire time like I was going to steal something. If you're not white and wealthy, don't even bother walking in. My jaw tightened with every review I read. My CFO, James, was on the line too. "Michelle, I know what you're thinking, but we can handle this professionally. Schedule a formal visit, meet with HR, do an investigation." "Pull over," I told the driver. "Ma'am?" The driver looked confused. "We're not at your hotel yet." "I know. Pull over at that store up ahead. I need to buy some cheap clothes." There was silence on the phone. "Michelle," James said carefully, "what are you doing?" "I'm going undercover. Right now, today." "You can't be serious." "I'm dead serious. I didn't buy this company to let it keep treating people like garbage. I need to see what's really happening in that flagship store, and they're not going to show me the truth if they know who I am." The driver pulled over outside a Target. I stepped out of the car in my expensive suit and heels. "James, I'll call you later." "Michelle, please think about this." I hung up. 15 minutes later, I walked out of Target wearing a gray hoodie, black leggings, and cheap sneakers. My designer bag was in the trunk. My jewelry was in my purse. My hair was pulled back in a simple ponytail. I looked at myself in the car window. I didn't look like a CEO anymore. I looked like a regular person, someone you'd see at the grocery store or the gym. Perfect. I pulled up the address of the Lux Mode flagship store on my phone. It was only 10 blocks away. "Ma'am, are you sure about this?" my driver asked. "Very sure," I said. "Drop me off 2 blocks away. I'll walk from there." As we drove, my phone buzzed. It was James again. "Michelle, I'm begging you, let me send someone else to do this. This could be dangerous." I texted back, "I'm dead serious. I didn't get where I am by sending other people to do my work. I'll be fine." But deep down, I wasn't sure. The reviews had been bad, really bad, and if even half of what people were saying was true, this was going to get ugly. The store looked like a palace from the outside. Huge glass windows, gold lettering, a doorman in a suit standing at the entrance. I stood across the street and watched for a few minutes. A white woman in her 50s walked up to the door. She was wearing a fur coat even though it wasn't that cold. The doorman opened the door for her immediately, smiling and nodding. Then I watched what happened inside through the window.
Within seconds, a saleswoman rushed over to the fur coat lady. She was holding a tray with champagne glasses on it. They were both smiling, laughing. I took a deep breath. Okay, Michelle, let's see what they do with you. I crossed the street and walked toward the entrance. The doorman looked at me. His smile disappeared. He didn't open the door. He just stepped aside and let me pull it open myself. Strike one.
The inside of the store was even more beautiful than the outside. Marble floor, so shiny you could see your reflection. Crystal chandeliers hanging from the ceiling, classical music playing softly in the background. Everything was white and gold and perfect. But the moment I stepped inside, I felt it. The shift. A saleswoman near the entrance looked me up and down. Her eyes traveled from my hoodie to my sneakers and back up again. Then she looked away and walked in the opposite direction. Another customer walked in right behind me. She was white, wearing yoga pants and a hoodie too, not that different from me. But the same saleswoman who just ignored me turned around with a bright smile. Good afternoon. Welcome to Luxe Mode. Can I help you find anything today? I stood there, invisible. That's when I saw her. Sarah. She was standing near the back of the store by the register. Tall, blonde, wearing a tight black dress and heels so high they looked like weapons. She was watching the sales floor like a security camera. Then her eyes landed on me. I saw it happen in real time, the way her face changed, the way her mouth tightened. She leaned over to a security guard standing near the jewelry case and whispered something in his ear. He nodded and turned to look at me. They were already watching me, and I hadn't even touched anything yet. I walked slowly toward a display of cashmere sweaters. They were beautiful, soft, the kind of thing that cost more than most people's weekly paycheck. I reached out and touched one. Excuse me! The voice was loud, sharp, like a slap. Everyone in the store turned to look. Sarah was walking toward me fast, her heels clicking on the marble floor like gunshots. Please don't handle the merchandise unless you actually plan to purchase something, she said. Her voice was cold, professional, but her eyes were full of disgust. I blinked. I'm sorry? Our items are very expensive, she said slowly, like she was talking to a child who didn't understand English. The oils from your hands can damage delicate fabrics. We prefer that customers ask for assistance before touching anything. I looked around the store. The white woman in yoga pants was literally pulling dresses off a rack, holding them up to her body, checking the prices. Nobody was saying anything to her. I looked back at Sarah. I understand. Can I get some assistance then? She looked annoyed, like I was wasting her time. Lisa, she called out sharply. A young black woman who'd been folding clothes in the corner jumped. Yes, Miss Mitchell? Come help this customer, Sarah said, already turning away from me. The young woman hurried over. Her name tag said Chloe. She looked nervous, but when she got to me, she smiled. A real smile. Hi, she said warmly. I'm Chloe. How can I help you today? Finally, a human being. I'm looking for something nice, I said. Maybe a dress or a blouse for work? Of course. Her face lit up. What kind of work do you do? Business, I said vaguely. Meetings, that kind of thing. Okay, I have some ideas. Follow me. She led me toward a section with beautiful dresses, professional but elegant. As we walked, I decided to learn more about her. How long have you been working here? I asked. About 6 months, she said quietly. Do you like it? She hesitated. The smile on her face faded a little. The clothes are beautiful, and I need the job. I'm trying to save up for college. What do you want to study? Business management, she said. I want to open my own store someday. A place where everyone feels welcome, where you're not judged by what you're wearing when you walk in. I smiled. This girl had dreams, real ones. That's a great goal, I said. But then Sarah appeared out of nowhere. Lisa! Her voice was ice. Chloe jumped like she'd been shocked. Yes, Miss Mitchell? What are you doing?
I'm helping this customer find— I can see that, Sarah snapped. But did I tell you to spend time with her? You called me over to help. I told you to fold the clearance section when you're done, Sarah said. Her eyes were cold. We need to focus on high-value clients. She— Sarah gestured at me like I was trash on the sidewalk— is obviously just browsing, wasting time. You're wasting company resources on someone who isn't going to buy anything. Chloe's face turned red. I could see her hands shaking. Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. Go back to clearance now. Chloe walked quickly, her head down. I felt my blood boil, but I kept my face calm. Sarah turned to me with a fake smile. I'm sure you understand. We have to prioritize our serious customers. Perhaps you'd be more comfortable at one of our outlet locations. They have more affordable options. And how do you know I'm not a serious customer? I asked calmly. She looked at my hoodie, my sneakers, my makeup-free face. Call it years of experience, she said. Then she walked away. I didn't leave. I wasn't going to give her the satisfaction. Instead, I walked over to the most expensive section in the entire store. Evening gowns, silk, sequins, beading, price tags that said $3,000, $5,000, $8,000. I picked out 3 of the most expensive dresses and carried them toward the fitting rooms. Sarah appeared in front of me like a ghost. Excuse me, she said, blocking my path. Those dresses require a credit card authorization hold before you can try them on. I stared at her. A what? It's our policy for items over $500, she said smoothly. We've had incidents with expensive items disappearing into bags. I'm sure you understand. I pointed at a white woman near the jewelry counter who was trying on 3 different necklaces at once. Did you ask her for a credit card hold? She's a regular customer, she said without missing a beat. You're new. It's policy for new customers. Fine, I said. I reached into my bag and pulled out a basic debit card. Not my platinum card, not my business card, just a regular everyday card. I handed it to her. She took it between 2 fingers like it was dirty. She held it up to the light and examined it. She said. Okay, I'll hold this at the register. You have 15 minutes. She walked away with my card. I went into the fitting rooms. The dresses were beautiful, but I wasn't really interested in them. I was watching, learning, seeing exactly who Sarah Mitchell was. And she was exactly what the reviews said. Maybe worse.
When I came out of the fitting room, I handed the dresses back to a sales associate. Not what I'm looking for today, I said, but thank you. I walked around the store for a few more minutes. I went to the shoe section. A saleswoman saw me coming and suddenly got very busy reorganizing a shelf. I went to the jewelry section. The woman there asked if I needed help, but when I said I was just looking, she said, well, please don't touch the glass. It shows fingerprints. Everything was designed to make me feel small, unwelcome, like I didn't belong. Finally, I decided I'd seen enough, but I wanted to buy something, just one small thing, to see what would happen. I grabbed a silk scarf from a display near the register. It was pretty, simple. The price tag said $200. I walked up to the register. Sarah was there, typing something on the computer. I placed the scarf on the counter. Just this today. She looked at it, then at me, then back at the scarf. $200, she said flatly. Cash or card? Card. I opened my bag to look for my wallet. It had fallen to the bottom, under my phone and my keys. I didn't see what happened next. I was too busy digging around in my bag. But when I watched the security footage later, when I rewound it and watched it frame by frame, I saw exactly what she did. While my head was down, while I was distracted, Sarah reached under the counter. She pulled out a gold watch, shiny, expensive, the kind of watch that costs as much as a used car. The price tag said $2,000, and she slid it into my shopping bag. Smooth, fast, practiced, like she'd done it before. Then she rang up the scarf, printed the receipt, and handed it to me with a smile so fake it could shatter. Here you go, she said sweetly.
Have a blessed day. If you're not subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Hit that button because this is about to blow your mind. I took the bag and the receipt and walked toward the exit. I had no idea what she'd just done. I thought I'd won. I thought I'd gotten what I needed to see. I was wrong. I was 3 steps from the door when it happened. Beep, beep, beep. The alarm at the exit screamed to life. I stopped, confused, and then Sarah's voice cut through the store like a knife. Stop right there. I turned around. Sarah was already rushing toward me, her face twisted with fake concern and real excitement. Don't move, she said loudly. She wanted everyone to hear her. The alarm doesn't just go off for no reason. What's going on? I asked, keeping my voice calm. You tell me, she said. She crossed her arms and looked at me like I was a bug. That alarm means there's something in your bag that hasn't been deactivated, something you didn't pay for. I have the receipt, I said. I held it up. Right here. I paid for the scarf. She barely glanced at it. The alarm went off. That means there's something else in that bag. Open it, now. The store had gone completely silent. Everyone was staring. I could see phones coming out. People were already recording. I'm not opening anything, I said firmly. I bought one item, the scarf. That's it. So you're refusing to cooperate? Sarah said, her voice getting louder. Everyone, did you hear that? She's refusing to show us what's in her bag. A security guard walked over. Big guy, arms crossed, trying to look intimidating. Ms. Mitchell, is there a problem? He asked. Yes, Kevin, there's a problem, Sarah said dramatically. This woman's bag set off the alarm and she's refusing to show us what's in her bag. I need you to detain her while I call 911. Detain me, I said. For what? Walking out with a receipt? For theft, Sarah said coldly. Kevin, make sure she doesn't leave. I'm calling 911 right now. My heart was racing, but I kept my voice steady. You're making a mistake. The only mistake here was giving you the benefit of the doubt, Sarah said. She pulled out her phone and dialed. Within minutes, I heard sirens outside. 2 police officers walked in. One was younger, maybe 30. The other was older, white, with gray hair and a hard expression. His name tag said Officer Miller. What's the situation? Officer Miller asked. Sarah jumped in immediately. Officer, thank God you're here. This woman came into my store and tried to leave with unpaid merchandise. The security alarm went off and she's refusing to show us what's in her bag. Officer Miller looked at me. Is that true, ma'am? I paid for everything in this bag, I said calmly. I held up the receipt. Right here. I paid for the scarf. She barely glanced at it. The alarm went off. That means there's something else in that bag. Open it, now. My heart was racing, but my voice was calm. I'm not opening anything. Officer Miller stepped closer. Ma'am, I'm going to need you to hand over that bag right now, or you're going to be arrested for obstruction. If I hand you this bag, that woman is going to lose her job, I said, looking straight at Sarah. Are you sure you want me to do this?
Sarah laughed, a sharp, mean laugh. Oh, here we go, the victim card. Poor me, everyone's picking on me. Classic. Officer Miller was losing patience. Ma'am, this is your last chance. Hand over the bag, now. I looked at him, then at Sarah, then at all the people with their phones out. Fine, I said. You want to see what's in the bag? Let's see what's in the bag. I handed it to Officer Miller. He took it and dumped everything out onto the counter. The silk scarf fell out first, and then the gold watch, the $2,000 watch that I'd never touched. The crowd gasped. There it is, Sarah said triumphantly. I knew it. I knew she was stealing. Officer Miller picked up the watch and looked at me. Ma'am, did you pay for this? No, I said calmly, because I didn't take it. It's in your bag, Sarah said, her voice dripping with satisfaction. The evidence is right there in front of everyone. She put it there, I said, pointing at Sarah. Sarah's eyes went wide. Are you kidding me right now? You're going to lie to the police? Everyone saw you. You set off the alarm. Because you planted evidence in my bag.
I said. That's insane, Sarah said. She turned to Officer Miller. Officer, I've been the manager of this store for 8 years. 8 years! I have never had a single complaint. Does it make any sense that I would risk my career to frame some random woman? Officer Miller looked at me. Ma'am, that's a serious accusation. It's the truth, I said. Can you prove it? He asked. I smiled. Actually, yes, I can. I pulled out my phone. What are you doing? Sarah asked. She looked nervous now. I'm about to show everyone exactly what you did, I said calmly. Officer Miller frowned. Ma'am, unless you have video evidence. I do, I said. Officer, does this store have security cameras? Of course it does, Sarah snapped. But you can't just access. I can, I said. I opened an app on my phone. A blue screen appeared with the Lux Mode logo. What is that? Officer Miller asked. This, I said, turning the phone so everyone could see, is the Lux Mode corporate security portal. It gives the owner access to live feeds from every store in every store, and it has a rewind feature. Sarah's face went pale. Owner? My name is Michelle Adebayo, and as of yesterday, I own 100% of this company. The store went silent. You could hear a pin drop. Officer Miller looked confused. You're the owner? I am, I said. I held up the phone, and this app is restricted to executive access only. Watch. I tapped the screen and pulled up the camera feed from the register. The timestamp showed 15 minutes ago. Everyone leaned in. On the screen, you could see me standing at the register, digging through my wallet for my wallet, and you could see Sarah, clear as day, reaching under the counter, pulling out the gold watch and sliding it into my shopping bag when I wasn't looking. The footage was crystal clear. Sarah's hand, the watch, the bag, frame by frame. Officer Miller's jaw dropped. I looked at Sarah. Still want to call me a liar? Her face had gone from pale to red. I was testing the security system. It was a training exercise. A training exercise? You planted evidence on a customer, called the police, and tried to have me arrested as a training exercise? I didn't mean to... You didn't mean what? You didn't mean to racially profile me the second I walked in? You didn't mean to treat me like a criminal because of how I look? You didn't mean to try and destroy my life to prove a point? Sarah started crying, real tears now. Please, I have a mortgage. I have bills. I've worked here for 8 years. And in those 8 years, how many other people did you do this to? How many other customers did you humiliate? How many did you call the police on? She didn't answer. I turned to Officer Miller. I want to file formal charges, false accusation, planting evidence, filing a false police report. Officer Miller nodded slowly. He looked at Sarah. Ma'am, I'm going to need you to turn around and put your hands behind your back. What? Sarah's voice was shrill. You're arresting me? You planted evidence and filed a false report. That's a crime. But I'm the manager, Sarah screamed. I run this store. You can't do this to me. Actually, I said, you don't run this store anymore. Sarah Mitchell, you're fired, effective immediately, and you're banned from every Lux Mode location in the country. The security guard stepped forward. Miss Mitchell, I need you to come with me. Sarah looked around wildly, like she was looking for someone to save her, but everyone was just staring. Some were still recording. This isn't fair, she sobbed. I was just doing my job. I was protecting the store. You were protecting your own prejudice, and now you get to live with the consequences. Officer Miller put the handcuffs on her. Sarah was still crying, still screaming as they led her toward the door. You're going to regret this. I'll sue. The door closed behind her. The store was silent for a moment, and then someone started clapping. Then another person, and then the whole store erupted in applause. I stood there for a moment, just breathing. Then I walked over to where Chloe was standing. She was crying, her hands shaking. Chloe, I said gently. She looked up at me with wide eyes. I'm so sorry. I saw what she did.
I saw her put the watch in your bag, but I was too scared to say anything. I thought if I spoke up, she'd fire me, and I need this job for school, and I—" "Hey," I said softly. "It's okay. I understand." "No, it's not okay," she said, tears streaming down her face. "You stood up for yourself, and I just stood there and said nothing. What kind of person does that make me?" "It makes you human, and it makes you someone who was stuck in an impossible situation." She wiped her eyes. "I should have been braver." "You were kind to me when no one else was," I said. "You treated me like a person. That takes courage, too." She looked at me. "Are you really the owner?" I smiled. "I really am. I bought the company yesterday, and I came here today because I wanted to see the truth. I wanted to see how customers were really being treated." "And what are you going to do now?" she asked nervously. "Well," I said, "first, I'm going to make sure Sarah never works in retail again. Second, I'm going to personally review every complaint this store has received in the last 5 years. And third," I looked at her, "third, I need a new store manager, someone who actually cares about people, someone who treats everyone with respect, no matter what they look like or what they're wearing." Chloe's eyes went wide. Are you saying—" "How would you like the job?" I asked. Her mouth fell open. "Me? But I've only been here 6 months. I'm only 22. I don't even have my degree yet." "You don't need a degree to be a good leader. You need empathy. You need integrity. And you have both. So what do you say?" She started crying again, but this time they were happy tears. "Yes," she said, her voice shaking. "Yes, thank you. Thank you so much." I shook her hand. "You start tomorrow. I'll have HR send you all the details." She hugged me, a real tight hug. When she pulled away, she was smiling bigger than I'd ever seen. As I walked out of the store, I thought about everything that had happened. Sarah had looked at me and decided who I was before I even opened my mouth. She'd seen my hoodie, my skin color, my sneakers, and she'd made up her mind. Poor, criminal, unworthy. And she'd been so convinced she was right that she'd tried to destroy my life to prove it. But here's what people like Sarah don't understand. You can't judge a person by the clothes they wear. You can't judge them by the car they drive or the neighborhood they live in, because you never know who you're talking to. That poor woman in the hoodie might be the CEO of your company. That suspicious customer might be the person who signs your paycheck. That person you're treating like garbage might be the one who decides your future. But more than that, more important than any of that, every single person deserves to be treated with respect, not because of what they can do for you, not because they might be rich or powerful, but because they're human beings. And if you can't understand that, if you treat people badly based on how they look, it will come back to you. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but eventually the truth always comes out. Sarah learned that the hard way, and I hope she never forgets it. If this story meant something to you, if it taught you something or made you think, hit that like button and subscribe to this channel. Share this video with someone who needs to hear this message. Drop a comment below and tell me what you would have done in this situation. Remember, respect doesn't cost a thing, but it means everything. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.